That's funny. Call them YAHAWAH. I at least got the sound. I didn't expect that to happen. But yeah, basically what happened was someone was. That's the thing. That's the funny thing about it. Slakia. First and foremost, I want to give all honor. Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Rakwak Badash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And shalom to the mighty AHPARYAM, YAHAWAH, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity. This is Brother Kawa coming with another lesson. Today's lesson, we're going to basically flow through the Spirit. I have a few topics laid out. I don't really know how things are going to go today, but just in general. One thing I will say in regards to the car horns that you just heard early at the very beginning was, people are starting to get a lot more dumber. Okay, people are starting to get a lot more selfish. Or it might not even be just out of stupidity or a lack of intelligence, but I think it's more so attributed to the fact that, well, the common factor, let's get that first. The common factor is over here in 2nd Esdras, chapter 9. No, wait, hold on. Second Esdras chapter 14, verse 17. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. Alright? Verse 18, for the time is fled far away, and leasing is hard at hand, for now hastens the vision to come which thou hast seen. Okay, so basically when we see people going on, when we see people being just absolutely selfish or just stupid or plain, and actually maybe I take that back. Yes, it is a fact that they are just selfish and that they're dumb. All right, because the thing is, you have to understand when it comes to order and how things run. Like, say for example, the road. All right, the car road. All right, the car road isn't just something for people. All right, it's just for one person's car. I didn't mean to say people. I meant to say for the cars, multiple cars. It's not just, oh, you have to get somewhere, so you own the entirety of the road. No, that's not how it goes. You might be late. You might be running late to someplace. All right, and that's why there's order. That's why there's laws, regulations, stuff like that. And that same thing applies to YAHAWASHI. All right, the Lord's laws. He put all these laws in place. All right, in order to make sure that we, not just we, but people in general are able to live harmoniously and thrive. All right, and that's a big factor where a part of it comes from we need, some people might need rest. All right, but you have people that are forced, not because they want to. People that are forced to work 7 days a week. All right, there's literally there's no rest. There's no, oh wait, let me take a break. I've worked hard enough. Okay, there's no Sabbath. And that's what the Sabbath is for. The Sabbath is for, when we do all the stuff that we need to do, we make all the preparations and whatnot, and then that 1 day of rest, okay? And then on top of that, Esau, he doesn't do any Sabbaths, for the land, all right? Let me see if I can find this. Bear with me, Slakia. Mark chapter 2, verse 27. He said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. So if we are keeping the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandments, then we would be keeping the Sabbath to the point where, okay, you know what? I've been working all week and whatnot. I'm super tired. All right, but now is my time to take a rest. Take this time to sleep and whatnot. Do all that stuff that I need to do. Okay, not I have to work. I'm just always working 24/7 all the time. Okay, but that's the mentality that Esau puts. That's the mentality that Esau has, and he's trying to put that on the people, us Israelites, as well as these other heathen nations as well. Okay, you have people saying, you need to get a side hustle. You have to get a side hustle if you have time. I literally heard someone say, if you have time to have hobbies, then you have time to have a side hustle. And that's cool and all. Yeah, maybe so. But what happened to just being able to sit down, relax, and enjoy the life, enjoy your life? Okay. What happened to being able to just having some time for yourself? All right, because we all have certain things that we gravitate to, certain interests and whatnot. All right, but it shouldn't. Our life shouldn't revolve around only getting money. But the reason for that, all right, let me get that precept. All right, Slakia, let me also add to this, okay, before I get Baruch chapter 3, verse 8, right quick. Leviticus chapter 25, verse 6, and the Sabbath of the land shall be meat for you, for thee, and for thy servant, and for thy maid, and for thy hired servant, and for thy stranger that sojourneth with thee. All right, so there's a Sabbath for the land. There's a time for the Sabbath. There's a time when there's a Sabbath for even the land, all right, where you're not supposed to be going out and working the land dry. But the thing about Esau is Esau will always forcefully make not only the people work, but the land work. They're always planting soils by forcefully saying, okay, well, let's make these greenhouses, let's put these things in places or whatever to constantly be growing something on the land, rather than just giving the land time to rest, giving the land it's time to okay, you know what, you made me crops, that's great, cool, let me give you a break, okay? Because the thing is, I don't know if you know, even plants are living creatures as well, okay? Science has determined that plants are living creatures. All right, now let me also go back to Baruch chapter 3, verse 8. Baruch chapter 3, verse 8, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our father, which departed from the Lord our power. That's another big thing, okay? We are subject to payments. That's why people are saying, if you have free time, spend that free time on a side hustle, get another job, get a part-time job on top of your full-time job, doing this, that, and the third, whatnot. All right, or just start your own business, blah 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 blah. All right, there are all these different things that society is telling us to do. It's like there's all these different things that society's telling us to do, things that we have to do in order to make it in this kingdom, in this wicked society. All right, where it just gets to a point where it's just so draining. All right, you're constantly stressing about work, where you're damn near sucking. That's another thing. All right, you got this Jake. There was this Jake that elder brother MANASSEH had done a lesson on, that was talking about, oh, we're free. All right, the only people that are being persecuted are the real, are the 48ers. All right, in their land. All right, as they are kicking the Palestinians out of their homes and stealing their stuff. All right, as they're treating them like trash, they're being hypocritical. Oh, and it's like that Jake, they're not being hypocritical. They're being evil, and then that Jake is justifying the evil that they're doing. All right, and then on top of that, he's saying that we're free when we're not free. Nobody in this society, be it on the Western Hemisphere, okay? Nobody on the Western Hemisphere is free, and dare I say, nobody on the Eastern Hemisphere is free too. Possibly, I don't know how they're. I'll take that back actually, because I don't know how life is over there. But over here in the Western Hemisphere, life is not a freedom. It's not. We're not free. Okay, because we are subject to payment. Slakia. Because we are subject to payments, all right, we constantly need money. We constantly need to keep on accumulating more and more money in order to pay for your water bill, rent, your freaking electric bill, your internet bill, your phone bill, your cable bill, your whatever bill, all right, because you have to pay for all of these different bills, car insurance, whatever, your car, all right, whatever, all these other different bills, and that's crazy that we have to pay so many different bills, slacking. That's still a crazy thing to me. That I will never, absolutely never accept as a righteous thing. All right. Anyway, the main thing is just in general how we are subject to these payments. We are subject to constantly needing to accumulate more and more money in order to pay, to just barely get by in this with the money, with what little money we're making. All right, that's a terrible thing where we are basically slaves. We're still slaves, okay? Because we're still constantly working. It's only a few of us Israelites that actually get to enjoy, living with some form of wealth and whatnot. All right. Overall, it's not always the greatest, and that's the thing where collectively we're not doing well. All right. So let me go on to the next topic. Oh yeah, another thing I know I did a lesson on this before, but I think it's very important that it's very important that I talk about it, because this is part of the sign, part of the times. Okay, just like how I spoke on how the earth is getting weaker, or it's like not the earth. Yes, the earth and the people are getting weaker as time goes on. All right. Esau is designing society to forward the degradation of people. All right. One thing that they're doing. Okay, so let me explain something to you. All right. Say for example, you constantly need to. Back then they would constantly need to carry water to their house for whatever reason, but showering, drinking, whatever. Like they would manually lift up those big buckets of water, to their houses and do that type of stuff. Okay, as they did that, be they women, children, the men, whoever, as they did that, all right, they developed bodies that would adjust to that process, to the demand of what they needed. All right. So as a result of that, the people back then were a lot stronger comparatively. And then what happened? What's going on now? what's going on now is for us, we are, everything is automatic, all right? Everything is automatic, everything, is, done for us. So we don't need to do any of that manual labor. We just have pipes that lead water into, giving us water to drink, water to shower, water to do all this stuff, but we don't need to do that. Now, as time has gone on, that things have only been getting easier in terms on the manual labor side of things, where we furthermore don't need to exercise and do all that do all those manual labor, because there's so many different things that are just being disqualified in terms of a requirement for a living. For example, grocery shopping, or even better, cooking. Okay, we don't need to cook anymore. We can just say, hey, can you deliver me some McDonald's, deliver me some whatever, or whatever food you want to order, or people order, and then they just get it to your doorstep. The only thing that you did was you called and you talked, you verbally spoke to someone to get your order, or not even then. With what they have online, they have you just type in your order, so you don't even need to do any talking. Okay, all you do is just, okay, can you give me this, that, and third, X, Y, and Z, whatnot? Give me my stuff, and then you're done. We're over and done with that's the whole process. They get to your door, you open the door, take your food, and then you begin eating. That's it. That's how society is right now, where it's constantly being technology is being advanced to make people lazier. Okay, regardless of whether it's convenient or if it's something that's a betterment. But in actuality, it's not a betterment, because people aren't disciplined enough to moderate between, okay, you know what, I want to do this, or let me take the stairs. Because a lot of people, they just take the escalator, they take the elevator, or they take the stairs because it's less effort. They exert less effort. And as a result of that, people have been getting lazier and lazier as time has gone on. Okay, so why would you? The point is like this: why would you go out your way to exercise? Why would you go out your way to take the stairs where you have to manually put your foot up when the escalator is just moving automatically and taking you up to the floor that you need to get to? Okay, there are all these different things to it. Okay, but at the end of the day, that's a result of Esau's society. And that's the thing. That's the thing about Esau. Okay, Esau thinks he civilized us. He gave us all this stuff. All right, people say, oh, they love technology and stuff like that, and technology is cool. Yeah, it's fine and stuff like that. Me personally, speaking as a man, I like video games. I like computers and stuff like that. All right, but I'm not foolish enough to constantly justify it. I will gladly give up, what's it called, for either YAHAWAH and MANASHAH, or just for the betterment of society. But the thing is, I don't really think computers in general. I think it's primarily just these certain systems. But if someone has a better argument to say it's computers or whatever in general, then that's fine. I will concede. I'm never gonna. That's not a hill that I will die on. All right. The main thing I'm trying to say, I'm trying to get at, which I'm openly admitting, is that computers and technology in general is, while it is very convenient and lots of people like it, people like it to the point where they are heavily dependent on it. All right, where it's a detriment. It's kind of like drugs. Esau is always introducing drugs to people, I remember, I think it was either Japan or China or both of them, where they had been introduced opium or whatever to from Esau Edom. And then in addition to that, there's also what else? Slovakia. And the crack epidemic. Crack wasn't an epidemic until it was affecting Edomites. All right, that's more and more stuff. Chicken pox. When they introduced that to the so-called Native Americans, right? There's so many different things that Esau is the one that brings these terrible plagues, terrible, hellish conditions, these sicknesses onto other people. Not just us Israelites, but also just people in general, fucking everyone up, all right? And then, okay, things are just not going right, okay? And that's how, again, society is constantly being ruined being ruined for everyone. Okay, so yeah, like that's a big thing. Technology, it's nice, it's cool, it's convenient, all that stuff. But are you really willing to give up Are you really willing to give up your health, give up your what's it called? Your wellness for the sake of some convenience? All right, like these are the things that you need to have to actually think about and process through your mind. Okay, because that's another part of the MOTB. Okay, so many people they love money. They've been working so hard, so much and whatnot. They got their house. They own their houses. They own their cars, multiple cars. They have a whole bunch of assets and stuff like that. Whatever. Okay, whatever the thing that they have. Okay, and the thing is that those blessings are when the MOTB gets implemented are going to turn into detriments, because you're going to make it. The Lord's going to make it so that, okay, I really want to keep these stuff. I really want to be able to use. I really want to be able to use the money that I accumulated all these years. All right, but you won't be able to use it because the MOTB says, oh, you need to have this digital, this digital device in order to be able to partake in society. Okay, so if you don't have it, then what? All right, and you're gonna lose all of your finances. You're gonna lose all of your stuff. You won't be able to buy and sell. All you're just gonna have is some. Yes, these paper, all right, papers that mean nothing, all right, in the up and coming new society, all right. They intend to make everything. I think Donald Trump even said what he wanted to do was make all the central banks become digital instead, all right. Get rid of coins, get rid of dollar bills, and make everything digital. And that's a big push in this up and coming thing for the implementation of the MOTB, right? So yeah, like these are the things that you have to be able to say, okay, you know what? I know I have 10K, I have 100K, I have money, I have whatever, all right, but is that more important? Is that money more important to you than preserving your life with YAHAWASHI or salvation in general? All right, so that's going to be a very hard thing. And I want to say, lots of people, they assume that they're not going to accept the MOTB. Okay, people have said online, "Oh hell no, I would never take that. I'm not going to fall for that stuff." But in actuality, a lot of people, they're all just talk. All right, they're all talk. They're not really going to be about that life. They're not going to be willing to, die for Yahawadah and Yahawadah. Okay? As a matter of fact, let's get that to prove it. Second Ezra chapter 9, verse 15, I have said before, and now do speak, and will speak it here also hereafter, that there be many more of them which perish than of them which shall be saved. All right, so there's going to be more people that are going to die, right, compared to the people that are going to be saved. The thing is that, let me get that as well, Slothful. Matthew chapter 20, verse 16, so the last shall be first, and the first last, for many be called, but few chosen. Okay, so there's going to be a lot more people that are going to be given the opportunity to repent, but the Lord is going to put it in their spirit for them to not want to. Okay, you're going to say, oh, I can protect myself, I can take care of myself. And you know, speaking of which, there's a brother that had done a lesson, all right, I just saw yesterday, where this Jake, he was talking about, I would never let a man attack me or hit me and get away with it. I would never let this happen to me and whatnot. Like, I'm tough. Like, look at my eyes. You know, this, that, and the third and whatnot. The whole Yosemite Sam spirit, which is what he made the comparison with, which was a very good comparison. Okay, always trying to overcompensate for his actual lack of toughness and whatnot by puffing up his chest, you know, like animals do. Animals make themselves bigger in order to intimidate the predators. All right, and that's exactly what these people are doing right now. Okay, saying, oh yeah, listen to my accolades. Look at this, that, and third. Look at my big size and whatnot. When in actuality, you know, they're soft. Or even if they are soft, all right, even if they are soft, they're just weak-minded, or actually have no literal know-how in how to defend themselves. All right. And as a matter of fact, that reminds me of this topic. Hold on. In Ezekiel chapter 28. Verse 2, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord Yahawah, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a power, and I sit in the seat of Yahawah in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man, and not Yahawah. Though thou set thine heart as the heart of Yahawah, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel, there is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thy understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasure. Verse 5, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic, thou hast increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahawah, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of Yahawah, behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. You know, that's a big thing. So basically, you know, you got these people that puff their chest. It might not be people saying, oh, I'm the Most High God, I'm Yahawadah or whatever, okay, or I deserve his seat rather than him. It doesn't even have to be something as extreme as that. It just has to be someone that thinks. Let me actually get that as well. Hold on. Romans chapter 12, verse 3, for I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as Yahawah hath dealt to every man the measure of faith. For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office. Okay, so we are not, we can't be thinking about ourselves. Hi, oh, I'm this, that, and the third, I'm top dog, I'm the number one person around and whatnot. Okay, it's simply because of that, all right? It's because of that mindset that the Lord's going to send someone to take you down. The Lord's going to send someone to humble you, all right? And you don't want to be humble. You don't want to be taken down and destroyed, all right? This is why you have to actively think about the things that you say. Think about the way that you present yourself when you try to make yourself seem like, oh, I'm top, I'm this, that, and the third. It's okay to have a bit of confidence. It's okay to, you know, to love yourself, but you're pushing this narrative that you don't need anyone. You don't need Yahawadah most of all. All right, you can't be acting like if ever you are in any type of altercation, you're gonna handle it yourself. Okay? Yeah, of course we as men, all right, or slakia, not just men, but men of the Lord. More importantly, okay, we have to be able to say that I really, it's very important that I, participate in, or it's very important that I acknowledge that even though I feel confident enough to take down someone, okay, in a normal street fight or whatnot, you have to remember that the Lord can make literally anything happen, okay? All right, so the Lord can make something happen where you're having a bad day, and then now that person has the upper hand, and they get one good sucker punch, or someone else jumps in to attack you, okay, to sneak you. Okay? These are the things that you have to actively remember, that the Lord is a terrible power, and He can destroy anyone. Okay, anyone, even prime Mike Tyson. You have so many people that are afraid of Mike Tyson and whatnot. Okay, because the chances of you winning a fight between Mike Tyson is very low. In a fair fight, it's very low. But still, even still, all right, if the Lord is on your side, the Lord's it's gonna find a way to make you win. All right, and that's really all you have to remember at the end of the day. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, YAHAWASHI, Hashem, the Kwakadash, double honor to the elders and apostles, where millstone, abide with all, and shalom.